Good morning, Flagler County, and welcome to Veterans on Point, a WNZF radio show developed in mind for our county's beloved and respected veterans population and anyone else listening via internet or podcast. I'm your host, David Lyden, the Flagler County Veterans Services Officer, and naturally I'm here with my friend and colleague at the office, Eric Flores. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Dave, and good morning to all our listeners and viewers out there, and hoping that everybody, each one of you, is doing well health-wise and enjoying the weather that we have every day here. I mean, it's been a great week, great weather. I would like some rain, but hey.
Well, the weather's been the best. So.
Yes, I mean, what a great weather.
You know, a lot of people have been remarking, well, we finally got a spring. Usually, a lot of times it just goes from the Florida winter right into Florida hot summer.
Yes.
But we do have a nice, beautiful spring. Oh, and if you notice, we do have a guest in the studio today. We'll have a conversation with him later. And you may recognize him from up and down US 1 and Belterre, and that's Bicycle Frank. One of our legal loyal listeners. Good morning, Bicycle Frank.
Good morning, and good morning to all my fellow veterans.
That's good right, and Frank is a U.S. Navy veteran. Proud U.S. Navy veteran, I may say.
Very true.
Shipmate of mine.
Shipmate, that's right. All right, Flagler County, we are your Veteran Services officers, Eric and myself. We're at 1769 East Moody Boulevard in Bunnell. Our phone number is 386-313-4014. We're there to help you with your VA business claims, whether you're a veteran or a family member. So seek us out. Again, make an appointment. Give us a call, make an appointment so we can dedicate the appropriate amount of time to your situation. Sometimes those walk-ins just kind of throw us off kilter. And because even if you don't see somebody in our chair, we've dedicated time to working on claims for other veterans, doing the research, and getting forms and things prepared for an appointment that's coming in. So just keep us honest, keep us on track, and make an appointment. Today's Star Spangled Banner at the conclusion of the program is the traditional instrumental version, so stick around for that. We got to, of course, talk about our legal loyal listeners, which one is right here with us, like I said, Bicycle Frank. But I want to thank Billy Jones and his wife Jo for always listening.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah. And Navy Master Chief Dan, his wife Kay, we got to visit with them last week. Did.
Yeah, they look sharp, Master Chief looks sharp.
He looks sharp. He always greets us with his Master Chief uniform on. And then all the folks, whether it's the staff or residents that are there, are always remarking and saying hello. And he's well regarded there in the facility.
He is. He said he danced with every one of them there every time they have a party. But we also met his daughter, and we met them before. But
we got to spend some time with them.
Right. It was a great time.
Yeah. And of course, our Marine pal Jeff Kingdon was there.
Yes, indeed.
And he had just briefed in a briefing there at San Cyr to some veterans, and had invited the mayor to come speak as well. And of course, we got Talking Tom on our legal loyal listeners, and Charlie Hanger and his wife Jenny, and Valerie, and we've got Dennis and Sharon and Shane and Norman and Howard, his wife Valerie, and William and Holly and Keith. Lots of Jameses, including James the Mailmaid.
Yes.
We got some Franks with Frankie Jr. and the dad Frank.
Morning, Frankie Jr.
We've got Stephen and David and Mrs. Martin and Mr. Holt, and the Gallaghers and Bill, Don, Delmer, Michael, and Leon, Thomas, Rudolph, Gary. Yeah, Gary. I want to thank Gary again. Today's, we're recording on Wednesday. Gary's he took a veteran to a compensation and pension exam today, so that's where he is right now. So thank you, Gary. Once again, thank you for doing that.
Sir.
Very important that she did not miss that compensation and pension appointment. All right, so if you have a Veteran of the Week that you would like profiled in the Palm Coast Observer, we encourage you to send an email to brent@observerlocalnews.com. And whether that's a family member, a friend, coworker, neighbor, or somebody like that. Frank, you've been in the Veteran of the Week, right?
Yeah, he's been.
In the Observer, yep.
He don't remember, but he was there.
He was there. And, Frank, you might want to pay attention to this, too. I mean, all the times you've been hit by cars, you might want to remember that Massage by Natalie. Massage by Natalie is at 4871 Palm Coast Parkway Northwest, Suite 1. And so, yeah, if you've been run over by cars, you might need a massage. So, give Massage by Natalie and Company a call. I give the phone number 386-227-7499.
That way I'm coming soon.
I see.
All right. So, as opposed to when we used to do our history of the day for each of the days of broadcast week, now we are profiling a president, and this is the 9th week that we're doing that. And this week's president is William Henry Harrison, the 9th president and commander-in-chief. William Henry Harrison, America's 9th president, is famed for his 31-day tenure, cut short by his death in 1841. So that is the shortest presidency in our history. But his life brims with lesser-known quirks that made old Tippecanoe far more than a historical asterisk. Born in 1773 to a Virginia elite family, his father signed the Declaration of Independence. Harrison briefly studied medicine before financial woes pushed him into the Army at 18. His military fame came from the 1811 Battle of Tippecanoe, where he outwitted native forces led by Tenskwatawa, earning his nickname. Less known for his foresight in ordering troops to sleep armed, likely saved the day. Earlier in his bravery at the 1794 Battle of the Fallen Timbers, won praise from General Mad Anthony Wayne, boosting his young career. As Indiana Territory governor from 1801 to 1812, Harrison controversially used alcohol to sway native leaders during the 1809 Treaty of Fort Wayne, securing vast lands but fueling tensions. Oddly, he briefly pushed for temporary slavery to lure settlers, despite later anti-slavery views, showing his pragmatic streak. His 1840 campaign, the first modern one, used Tippecanoe and Tyler Too slogans, log cabin whiskey bottles, and a 10-foot paper ball rolled through towns to symbolize momentum. Portrayed as a rugged hero, Harrison did his refined taste like fine wines to appeal voters. His death, often blamed on a coatless 2-hour inaugural speech in freezing rain, likely stemmed from the enteric fever due to the White House's bad water. Doctors' bizarre treatments of opium, castor oil, even live snakes probably worsened things. His death, the first of a sitting president, sparked a succession crisis and birthed the curse of Tippecanoe, a myth linking his 1840 election to his later presidential death. Personally, Harrison wed Anna Sims against her father's wishes, raising 10 children, 6 of whom predeceased him. His grandson, Benjamin Harrison, became the 23rd president, the only such duo in U.S. history. Posthumously, his body was briefly lost en route to Ohio, a final odd twist. From medical dreams to mythic curses, Harrison's brief but colorful life proves even short chapters can leave lasting echoes. Boy, that's a strange one.
It is.
Every week there's something that I don't remember learning in school. So
Yeah, absolutely. When he died at 31 year old, he was, or
no, his presidency was only 31 days.
31 days.
Yeah.
Okay. How old was he?
His death was in 1841, so he was born in 1773. So 27, 68, I think 68. It is.
Yeah. Okay. And then he have a son that he, just like the Bushes, no? That became president.
Yeah, his grandson.
Oh, his grandson.
Grandson, yeah.
Oh, wow.
All right, so, and here's a quote of the week from President Harrison. "We are one people, bound by one destiny." And so that was comes from his inaugural address, urging unity amid partisan divides. And I guess that's the inaugural address where he was out in the pouring, freezing rain. one of the reasons they thought he passed away, but I guess maybe it was from, they said, the bad water in the White House.
Bad water, a lot of wine, a lot of whiskey.
and snake venom.
Yeah. Who knows?
So this week we're coming into the month of May. And so that means Armed Forces Week is this month, the week of the 12th through the 17th of May. Armed Forces Day is May 17th. That's a Saturday. And, of course, Memorial Day is May 26th. And we will have a Memorial Day ceremony out front of the Government Services Building. That'll be at 10 o'clock, and we'll bring you more information as the month progresses here on the show. And so, Bicycle Frank, we hope to see you out there.
I'll be there.
All right. So, this is the time of the show where I got to remind drivers. The DAV is seeking volunteer drivers to take veterans from their homes to their VA appointments. You can give them a call at 386-439-2122. That's DAV Chapter 86. They're at 27 Florida Park Drive in Palm Coast. You don't have to be a veteran to volunteer. You don't have to use your own vehicle. They do have 2 vehicles that they use for I think 3 vehicles they use for transportation. They're seeking another vehicle because they, for the month of, I just got a report yesterday from Mike Gaskill, who is their transportation coordinator, and they had almost 50 transports for the month of April. And they're already up to I think he said like 37 already scheduled for the month of May, and we haven't even started May. So
I'm pretty sure that service is used because we're getting called all the time,
I think you used that service before, didn't you, Bicycle Frank?
Twice,
yeah. So
great service.
So they are seeking another vehicle from the VA, and they do need a couple more drivers. So give them a call, 386-439-2122. I want to remind folks that the Robert J. Beck Military Service Honor Cord Ceremony is coming up on April 29th at the VFW at 6 p.m. And what is that ceremony? That's a ceremony where high school graduates from our high schools here in Palm Coast, the Matanzas High School and the Flagler Palm Coast High School, those are high school seniors that have elected to enlist in the U.S. military or are going into an ROTC program for the military, for the armed forces at a college, or they're going into one of the service academies like West Point, the Naval Academy, or the Air Force Academy. And at that ceremony, nice, simple ceremony, and they will be provided, honored with a red, white, and blue braided honor cord that the school allows them to wear with their graduation gown so that everyone in attendance will know that they've taken the brave and important step to serve in our armed forces. So if you got some time on your hands, come to the VFW 6 p.m. on April 29th and thank our high school seniors for their decision to join our armed forces.
It is a great ceremony. So if you have time, like you say, show up there, support them.
So let's talk to Bicycle Frank.
Good morning, Frank, again.
Bicycle Frank, U.S. Navy veteran, and we mentioned him.
Yes, I'm a Navy veteran, and I am one of the 14,000 veterans in Flagler County, but I'm the only one that gets run over every 2 years.
Yeah, don't make that a habit, please.
I don't try to make a habit, but my last accident, going home in the bicycle lane, and I see these lights. The first thing I said to myself is, why are the police bothering me? I look in my mirror, and the lights are jumping. And I said to myself, why are the ninjas after me?
The ninjas?
That's what I said. I said the ninjas, I don't know any better. Next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground. This lady is sitting there, and she's going like, Mister, are you all right? You all right? And she kept saying it. And I finally said, lady, look at my leg. The bone's sticking out of my leg.
Ouch.
No, I'm not all right.
No, that wasn't the lady that hit you, right? She stopped to check
on
you.
It was a
Motorcycle
guy
guy, right?
on a motorcycle
Wow.
who, to this day, we can't figure it out. But we're thinking is he made a wrong turn, going too fast, probably had a couple of alcohols in him, runs me over. And you know what the important thing was? The police department gave me a ticket saying I had no lights on my bike.
Uh-oh.
6 weeks later, I had to pay an attorney. Goes to the police department. They let him in my bike. He goes back in. He says, "Well, why did you give Mr. Diaz a ticket?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "You gave him a ticket for not having any lights on his bike. I just turned his headlight and his taillight on." But our police department was so embarrassed they couldn't answer it. It cost me $350 for an attorney to get the ticket dismissed. You know what?
Okay, that's too bad. But on the other hand, the first time you got hit, the sheriff's department helped you get a new bike, didn't they?
That was the second accident.
Oh, that was the second one?
Yeah, that was the second.
Well, that's how they compensate.
Rick Stelly, I love the man to death. He went through, he called Joe the bike man, and they got me a bike, and it was, and the thing was, the bike had power forward and reverse. And I still to this day appreciate that. 2 years,
electric one, right?
1 week later, I get hit again.
And that bike got wrecked?
Yeah, in fact, the other bike is still at the police station because I want an apology from the Bonneau Police Department for giving me a ticket for no lights.
Well, maybe if they're listening, they'll do that. But let's not pick on the Bonneau Police Department too much today.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry, folks. You know what? But when you get run over 3 times, all within a half a mile of each other,
that's like the Bermuda Triangle for you. You better stay out of there.
And they blaming me. It's like I did something wrong. I was just trying to go home.
Frank, I think we need to be using the DAV transportation more.
Yeah. Frank, what you do in the Navy?
It was really funny. When I volunteered to go in, I wanted to be in the Seabees because I was in construction.
Uh-huh.
So when I got there, gone through everything else, they decided they wanted to make me an electrician. All right? Electrical school was completely full. So my first duty, I was sent to Philadelphia, Naval Station, and there was USS Cruiser was being rebuilt. Got through that. The next day, I get sent down to Norfolk, Virginia, and then down there, I get set on another temporary duty. I was set on the USS Enterprise.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So I'm on duty in the Enterprise. We're doing sea trials. And I'm on the 05 level. And we're going up, they're telling you up. We're going up there. We're going up the East Coast, and we're doing 30 knots. All of a sudden, the whole ship is just falling apart. And I'm looking up there.
Enterprise was falling apart?
Listen to this.
After he came from a shipyard, huh?
And this is something that probably never heard before. So I'm on the 05 level, and just because I'm a trainee, I'm just on a watch station on a generator.
Uh-huh.
And I look behind me, and it's all aluminum, and these big cracks are going through the ship. So I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going, Mayday, Mayday, the ship's falling apart, the ship's falling apart. And they get to me. And what happened was they tried to save money. They put aluminum panels up there.
Ah.
The vibration, because I was under the 4 screws, the vibration went through and no. Well,
no, for people that are in the Navy, the screws are the propellers, right?
Well, you got 4 screws and you're doing 30 knots, and the vibration went through. So we go back to the thing, and they're going like, oh, great, you. It went back in for another 6 months. They had to take all the aluminum panels out of it and put steel panels on it.
Get back to the drawing board, huh?
Back to the drawing board. And then the funny thing was, when I finally got assigned to a ship, we're doing the med cruise. And during the med cruise, being in the first nuclear-powered carrier and they were going, the Russians flew over. And what the Russians did, they waited until lunchtime. So we go to general quarters at lunchtime to prepare for the thing. So now, somebody a lot smarter than me decided, let's put an end to this. So they sent the Enterprise 100 miles south of us with a destroyer alongside of it, so it looked like the big blobs. So the Russians are now going down there looking for us, and we went across the med cruise. And let me tell you something. The whole 10 days going to med cruise, I was seasick every single day. I couldn't wait to get to France and sit there.
Hey, so as a young man, was it interesting? Was it interesting? Duty?
You know what?
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Massachusetts.
Oh.
But you got to remember something. This was over 60 years ago.
Right.
And I still remember all this stuff.
Right. And so you were a young man. I mean, did you ever?
I was 20 years old when
when you were in Massachusetts. You ever think you'll be sailing around the Mediterranean, going to France?
France, Greece. I'll tell you, Greece.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was just the place. What did you have to do when you got 2 or 3 days liberty? I rented a bike and I rode around Greece. And,
so that's a lesson for our young people, right? If you join the Navy, join the military, and get to see the world.
I saw the world, and I'll tell you, I still remember. Greece was so beautiful, going through all the, I call them antiques now, but whatever. But it was great.
Frank, just like me, if it wasn't for the Navy, I wouldn't see the world like I did. And I'm so grateful for the Navy and other things, that I learned through my career. But the Navy gave me the opportunity to see Europe, Africa, Middle East, Asia, South Asia, and more. The Navy's great.
And meet people from all over the world, and experience cultures from all over the world. And you begin to appreciate what we have right here.
Yes.
So if you don't mind, tell people how old you are.
Yeah, that's not much, guys. I'm 82 years young.
82 years young.
82 years
He's still
young.
up early, and he's going, and you get out and you go to work.
I get up every single day. I have something to do every single day. I have a lot of people sit there and tell me, Frank, when are you going to retire? I said, I'm not going to retire. So I had one friend who totally he says, you got to retire. I said, let me tell you something. I said, I'm going to help dig my grave.
I believe that,
Remind people how important it is to have a purpose.
The purpose is you get up every day and do something to help people.
There you go.
I'm very fortunate. I guess it's another thing I meant to tell everybody. I'm Cape Verdean. We are very hard workers. We are very, very stubborn. Let me tell you something. You can take a hammer, hit me in the head twice. You can hit me a third time before I stop paying attention. And just the way I'm in. It's like when my last accident.
I hope that's the last one. I hope it's the last one. Yeah.
Folks, that we can't predict. I mean, the last one.
Well, what happens the third time? That's not a good charm.
No, that won't be a good charm.
I have a friend of mine that told me, she says, you have to be a cat. I guess because, growing up, I had some accidents and everything else, and I'm probably on my sixth or seventh accident. So, you know what? But I get up every day, and I have a purpose, and I do it, and it don't matter where I go, people know who I am.
Yep.
And
hey, you're locally famous, that's
Yes.
for sure.
Yes, he is.
So, Frank, got to thank you for being on. It was fun having a chat with you. But we're down to our last minute or so. So if you listen to the program that I've got to say, no country, no state, no community does more for veterans than the United States of America, the great and free state of Florida, the wonderful Flagler County, the lovely city of Palm Coast, and all of our beautiful beach cities. Be a victor, not a victim. Be educated, not indoctrinated. And most importantly, be kind to someone today or many someones. Any final thoughts from you guys?
No, just like you say, very kind. Be very kind to someone, just like Frank do every day, with people out there and with the purpose as he have. And everybody, thank you for listening and watching our show. And we'll see you next week.
And Frank, what about you? Any final thoughts?
Everybody just have a positive attitude. It don't matter what happens to you. Get up and smile, and tomorrow's another day.
Amen.
And I hope you and Bunnell PD will patch it up one day.
Yeah.
I hope that police officer who gave me that ticket has enough sense to come and apologize to me.
Well, folks, thank you for listening, and we'll be back with you next week.
Bye-bye.
Take care.